So as you can see from the introduction to the video, I wanted to keep this a short video and a fun video. I pulled out a gun that I haven't had out in a while, and that is my Hatsan AT-44 TACT. It's the tactical version of the AT-44. It's not in production anymore, and in addition, this particular one, the one that I have, I bought quite a while ago. Bought it new, but this predates any kind of shrouded barrel that Hatsan even offered on any of their guns. It's a very loud 25 caliber. I have it set up mainly for nighttime hunting. I've got a light on there. I've got a laser on there. When I originally bought it, I had a goal in mind, power-wise, of what I wanted to do with this particular gun. And that was convert it into a 50 foot-pound of energy at the muzzle air gun. And as you can see from the numbers on the introduction, and forgive me for the very crudely marked up photos, but the BHE stands for Barracuda Hunter Extreme, which those particular pellets I have in 25 caliber as well, and are extremely accurate, extremely powerful, as you can see, pushing 56, 57 foot-pounds of energy. Now that's with all the modifications I did to the gun. As far as the valve and all of the ports are concerned, all of those were modified quite extensively. Now what I'm going to do is, I was looking through my old videos, and I do have a video, very lengthy but very much in detail video on this particular gun and the modifications I made to it. And I'm going to put a link for that video down in this one. It is pretty good. Like I said, it goes quite into detail about what I did to the gun and how I did it. But as you can see from those very heavy 28 plus grain Barracuda Hunter Extremes, it's pushing well over 950 feet per second and well over the 50 foot-pounds of energy I was going for. Now, I wanted it specifically as a hunting gun for large raccoon, here in the Midwest anyway, especially around where I live. I have driven home many times from my work at night, early morning, 2:30 a.m., and I could have sworn that the animal that I am seeing up ahead as I'm driving down the street is a good-sized dog. And it turns out that that isn't what it is. It's a raccoon. That's how big the raccoons get in my area. And I wanted this specifically for that. Large possum, large raccoon, and I did want it capable of taking a coyote with a well-placed shot. And I am fully, although I have never taken a coyote with this particular air rifle, I am fully confident that it is more than capable of doing that. Anyway, as I mentioned, the gun is no longer in production by Hatsan, but I did pull up, Airgun Depot still has a listing for this gun on their website. It basically lists it as out of stock. I have seen it on other sites where it's listed as discontinued. But I did want to go over some of the stock numbers that Hatsan specified for this particular gun. And it will kind of give you an idea of the extent of the modifications and how well that they worked that I made on this particular gun. Number one, regardless of any modifications, it's a 9-round magazine in 25 caliber. A 180cc air reservoir. The air tube is removable from the gun. The valve is a part of the air tube. If you have checked out, or if you go back and check out my videos on the Hatsan Carnivore that I modified, that is the same situation. The air tube is removable. They are not interchangeable. The Hatsan Carnivore is based on the BT-65 Hatsan line of air guns, and this is an AT-44. The valves are very similar, but yet different, and the air tubes are different. They are not interchangeable as far as an AT-44 to a BT-65 or vice versa. But it is a 180cc reservoir. It fills up to 200 bar, 2,900 PSI. And the other thing it lists this for this particular gun is it originally claimed 18 to 27 useful shots per fill. Now, with the modifications I've made, I would knock that down to maybe 10. Exactly what the definition of a useful shot is depends on the user of the gun. But it does list it as generating up to 34 foot-pounds of energy. And it lists a maximum velocity of 870 feet per second. Now, if you do the numbers and you take 870 feet per second, the weight of a pellet that would be needed to generate 34 foot-pounds of energy is basically a 20-grain pellet. Now, Hatsan makes their Vortex Supreme pellets in 25 caliber. They're 19.91 grain. So I am 99.9% sure that this is what they use to base their velocity number and their foot-pounds of energy number as far as what the gun is capable of using these pellets. Now, 19.91 grain is about as light of a 25 caliber pellet as you're going to find. As I mentioned, I was using Barracuda Hunter Extremes. And in the pictures, I've crudely written up the exact grain for that particular pellet. Now, I was looking through the various 25 caliber ammunition that I have. The heaviest pellet I have are these Beeman Kodiak Match. They're 31.02 grain. So the lightest 25 caliber pellet that I do have is the Hatsan Vortex Supremes, and the heaviest is the Beemans. So I thought it'd be fun to shoot it over the Crony and see what I can get from the lightest pellet and see what I can get from the heaviest pellet. I want to compare these Beemans to the Barracuda Hunter Extremes. Now, I have 3 magazines that I have. Actually, the rifle comes with 3 magazines, and I keep them all filled with Barracuda Hunter Extremes because I know the gun's been sighted in at 50 yards. I know how accurate that particular pellet is. I know the smackdown power that that pellet has. And once again, I just want to point out the modifications that I've done to this particular gun and what they have added up to as far as converting a 870 feet per second gun to what I fully expect and what I hope that we're going to see when I fire a Hatsan Vortex pellet over the cranny is in excess of 1,000 feet per second. Now, with as light of a pellet as that is, I don't think that's going to convert out to the highest foot-pounds of energy I can get. It's going to be a hell of a lot more than 34 foot-pounds, but as you can see from the results of the Barracuda Hunter Extremes, I can already produce 57 foot-pounds of energy versus 34 as listed as capability of this gun by Hatsan. So it really is, as I pointed out in the intro, a powerhouse. This gun is heavy. That is one of, and pretty much the only drawback to this, even though it's tactical and has a slimmed down stock to it versus a regular AT-44. It is still very heavy. But with all that said, let's see what this can do with the lightest 25 caliber pellet I have and the heaviest 25 caliber pellet I have, okay? Let's do it. I've removed the magazine which contains the Barracuda Hunter Extreme pellets. I have manufactured my own single shot tray, which I will be using. We'll start out by loading one of these Hatsan Vortex Supreme pellets. Okay, Hatsan Vortex pellet is loaded up. Let's see what velocity we can get off of the cranny. .22. That was the fourth shot. 4 shots, 10.22 off of a full fill. The first shot, as I said, you're just going to have to trust me on it. The 10.22, I believe I got on video. The first shot was 10.36. So that's what the gun is capable of with a 19.9 grain pellet. Now let's see what it does with the 31.02 grain pellet. .939. So it's a gun I'm very proud of as far as the modifications that I've made. I customized the stock, painted it myself. Nice UTG scope. As I said, it's got a light and a laser with pressure sensitive switches. It's a powerhouse. Guys, stay safe, shoot safe.